The influx of counterfeit drugs is increasingly worrying. The World Health Organization estimates that about 100,000 people die from using counterfeit drugs, or what the public refers to as fake drugs, every year. So today we're going to host Dr. Gavin Orangi, who is a pharmacist, and he's going to tell us more about counterfeit drugs. Karibu sana, Gavin.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
What are counterfeit medicines?
Counterfeit medicines, which in public we call fake drugs,
yes,
are actually drugs which are produced or manufactured with the intended purpose to deceive in terms of the quality of the drug, or the effectiveness and efficacy of the same drug.
All right. So myself, I walk into a chemist or I go to the hospital and I'm given a drug for probably, for whichever condition, and diagnosis has been made. How can I know that a drug is counterfeit?
To the general public, that could be a bit tricky. So probably I'll point out a few things which we usually tell the public. Now, number one, cardinal rule: know your pharmacist. What am I talking about here? Know that where you go, the pharmacy is registered.
Okay.
The person who's practicing there is qualified. Now, that one is very, very important. Number two, you'll realize most of these people who produce these counterfeit medicines have actually become very, for lack of a better term, let me say, clever. So what they tend to do is there's usually very little difference between the original and the counterfeit drug. So we have things which we call like markers. You can find that drugs which the labeling is embedded. You check the labeling, make sure that you check the inserts which are inside to make sure that it matches what is on the cover of the same drug. Now, and also very important, some of these things, they are very difficult to note by the naked eye. So probably if you took a drug and you are not getting the effect, the desired effect of the drug after a certain duration of time, probably the drug is fake. Yes.
Looking at, handling the counterfeit drugs, it's become, more or less like an issue that has gone beyond our borders, that now it's an international thing, it's a criminal thing. Are there gaps that in our country that are making it, more favorable for persons who are dealing with counterfeit drugs?
It's actually a good point to bring, Wanja. Now, I think I need to take you back. There was a haul of, I think, 100 million British pounds of drugs that was in last year, counterfeit drugs. I think around a few weeks ago, the World Health Organization talked about counterfeit augmentin being in Kenya. Now, when you think about such things, what makes these drugs to reach the end user, these fake drugs, these counterfeit drugs? Now, one of the main things you'll think about are the porous borders that we have. So if you don't have enough security, then what tends to happen is these drugs tend to permeate to our country. Now, secondly, with the advent of internet, you just get on the internet, order a drug. There's no legislation for that ideally, so these people tend to go buy the drugs, purchase the drugs on the internet and use them. You don't know if it is counterfeit or not. Then thirdly, if you were to ask me, there's usually the issue of things like probably poor legislation. So if there is a poor, or let me say, not a very strong legislative framework to guard against this, then the thing is they'll just permit into the market.